Google has just stolen Apple's most exclusive feature. The Pixel 10 now officially has Airdrop. Yep, hell has officially frozen over, or perhaps in Steve Jobs' words, the users of Android living in hell have been offered a cup of cold iced water. While Google reverse engineering Airdrop sounds absolutely insane, this is something that has actually happened before, and it did not end up well. Well, not for Apple's competitor at least. So the news is that Google has cracked the back end of how Apple's Airdrop works, which for those who don't know is a feature that allows users of Apple's products to seamlessly share files between devices quickly and easily. While similar features like Palm's Touch to Share have existed in the past, it's the Airdrop ecosystem that everyone wants to be using today. What is gobsmacking to me is that this has been done completely behind Apple's backs, and after being introduced to Pixel 10 devices, this may actually be shared to other Android phones. This means that essentially everyone will be able to share files between their phones, a little bit like how people used to send files via Bluetooth. And while this all sounds very fun and good, this closely parallels an often forgotten story from 2009 that was a battle between Apple and Palm. John Rubinstein, who was famously the father of the iPod, at this time was now the leader at Palm. And Palm had just released their brand new pre-phone, the phone that brought us features like card-based multitasking, wireless charging, and gesture navigation. It was one of the most innovative phones ever made, but do you know what was the icing on the cake? Being John Rubinstein's baby, of course it had to sync with iTunes. Yep, although this wasn't an iPhone, nor even an Apple product at all, when you plug the Palm Pre into a computer, you could sync your music to the phone with iTunes, just like an iPod or iPhone. The audacity of Palm was absolutely insane. At the time, the general consensus was, well, Palm owned the patent for the smartphone, so what on earth could Apple do? So it just ended up being a game of cat and mouse. Apple was so furious that they almost immediately released a new version of iTunes, which patched the workaround out, and then Palm would release an update to reinstate iTunes syncing, and then Apple would release another update, and then Palm would, and then so who ultimately won? Well, it was Apple. But by then, it didn't really matter because Pandora Radio and Spotify both became popular on WebOS phones, and the idea of buying and downloading your music felt decidedly antiquated. So who do you think will win this time round, Apple or Google?